Hello, I'm Karen Slowinski, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Akron, Ohio. So today I'm going to show you how to do whitewash 2 different ways. It's a really cool technique and it's really great with our distinctive stamps. So this is the card that I'm going to be demonstrating today, but I'm going to show you a couple other examples. So I'm going to turn the camera around and we will get started. So the stamp set that I'll be using today is called Prized Peony. It's a beautiful distinctive stamp set and it looks really great when you do it in monochromatic colors. But I'm going to show you how to do it monochromatic with a little bit of a whitewash technique. So to begin, we need some paper. So we have a white card base. So I'm just going to get that folded and then give that a nice crease. I'm going to set that aside. And then we need some layering pieces. So we're going to start with our rich Razzleberry. This is a 3x4 1/4. And then I have a basic white piece, which is just a tiny bit more. It's a 1/16 inch larger. And then I have a rich Razzle. No, this is not rich Razzleberry. This is Blackberry Bliss. This is 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. So those are going to be our layers. So then what we're going to start out with, and I'm going to bring in my Stamparatus, is we are going to stamp our rich Razzleberry layer. And I'm just going to place this here on my Stamparatus. When I have a large stamp, I do like to use the Stamparatus for positioning it. It just makes it a little bit more forgiving if you don't get a really good inking. And so since we are stamping dark color on a dark paper, sometimes I also like to do a double stamp. So I'm going to close that. I'm going to give that a really good press. And I do think I am going to give it another layer of ink just to make that stand out a little bit more. Close up my ink pad. And that is a great thing about the Stamparatus, is that you know that it's going to be in the exact same place. So there, that is a nice dark image. So take this out, and I'm going to move my Stamparatus off to the side. All right, and then what you need is a clean block, and I just cleaned this before. And then you're going to need your Whisper White refill. So this is what comes when you order the stamp pad that's white. And this is very thick. Your ink pad is going to come to you uninked, and then you put this on it. So I'm just going to squeeze. Look at it going. Like I said, it's very thick. So I am just going to squeeze a small drop out onto my block. So you can see that right there. And then I'm going to be using one of our blender pens. Okay, so these are used for our watercolor pencils. You can also use them when you're doing some watercolor techniques. But we're going to use it here with our ink. And so these are, they look just white, but that's actually got a clear liquid in them. And then we are going to be applying this ink. So I'm going to pick up a little bit, and I'm just going to spread it out a little bit here. And then I'm going to start stroking this on. And the blender pen is going to help me just blend it in. And I'm going to go kind of with the petals. And it looks pretty intense when you first start doing it. But as it dries, it does get lighter. And I have found that I've gone back and added more and more of the white after, you know, that first layer has dried. You can already see it's starting to dry. So I'm going in and just adding it to the petals. And I like following the shape of the petals. It just gives it more of a natural look. It kind of gives you the, you know, the almost a texture of that petal when it dries on there. So look at how much it's dried already. So I'm going to keep going. And I will probably speed up the video so you can watch the process, but you won't have to listen to me as I do it. So I'm just going to keep going. All right, I'm just about finished up now. And just what I'm doing here is going back and adding just a little bit more of white touches, just real feathery. As you see, they really do dry quite a bit. So I'm just adding just a little bit more brightness to a few of the petals. And I think that is just about enough. And it worked out perfectly because I'm just about out of my white ink. All right. So then what you're going to want to do is have some scrap paper. And then you're just going to want to wipe off. And you can see that there's a little bit of the ink that this picked up. But you're going to kind of want to keep wiping this until it is clear and that you've got all the white ink out of it. All right. And then put that away. And then I'm going to let that dry for a little bit. And what I want to show you now is the second technique before we finish that card off. So here I have stamped one of the smaller flowers, and I am using one of our watercolor pencils. Now we have two different assortments of watercolor pencils. This comes in the first assortment, which you can see all the colors that you have here. And this one does have the white, and this is the second set. I do recommend getting both of them. It's a great mix of colors, and I am using my white. And then you're going to do basically the same thing that I did with the blender pen, but you're just going to be doing it with the watercolor pencil. Now, you are not going to be using the blender pen with this. You're just going to color it with the pencil and leave it unblended, if you will. And so I'm just going to continue a little bit so you can see how you can still get a whitewash look. It's a little bit simpler, but it's not quite as dramatic as doing it the other way. So that is the second way. So I'm going to go back to this, and it's still drying, as you can see, but I think I can go ahead and stamp my sentiment. And I'm going to stamp "So sorry for your loss." I'm going to put that right here in the lower corner. Okay. And I'm going to try to get this assembled without messing up the white. So we're going to add our glue. To our very skinny white layer. And like I said, it is really tiny when you look at that border. Okay, and then we're going to do that to our Blackberry Bliss. Get this all layered up. I think my layer shifted on me as I was turning it over. Let's see if I can get it to there. And it's one of the nice things about liquid glue is you do have a little bit of mobility. And I think I got a little bit of glue on there, which I will get off in a moment. And then we have our card base. So to this, we need some dimensionals. I'm going to peel them off. I'm just going to hold this as I add my dimensionals, since I don't want to set it down. It's a little bit harder holding them up in the air. And I peel off my backs. I'm just going to center this right in the middle of our card. Now, to add a little bit of sparkle to this, I have some of our new iridescent rhinestones. And I am just going to take and place. Well, it's not exactly where I wanted it. I'm going to place them. I'm going to get my eraser out here. And just get that little bit of glue that I smudged. Okay, that looks better. And then I'm going to add, come on, don't flip on me. And then one more. And I love these little gems because they just kind of pick up all the colors that are around them. So they're super versatile. Make sure they're all in a line. Okay. And as you can see, it is still drying. But we are going to stamp on the inside. So I have this, I'm going to move this here so it doesn't let it fall down. I have this flower, which is really pretty. And I'm going to stamp that right in. I'm going to stamp it off screen here. I'm going to just stamp that right in the middle. And then, so it's nice and light. And then we need our sentiment, which is going to be my thoughts are with you. I forgot to put that on a block. So I'm going to get a block for that. And I'm just going to line that up. And then we will put that right over the middle. Okay. So there's our card. And now for our envelope, I thought I would stamp that same flower. So I'm going to bring my scrap paper here. I've got some more scrap paper under the flap of my envelope. And I am just going to go ahead and stamp this all over the back of my envelope. So I'm rotating the flower just a little bit, give it in different positions. And then I think we need a little bit at this corner. And maybe just a titch right at the very bottom. So take this scrap paper away. And then you can see we've got our beautiful envelope with our lovely sympathy card. So let's put this ink away. And I'm going to show you just a couple more examples using this technique. So this next one is featuring the Common Camellia. This is a beautiful stamp set, and it is part of our celebration. And you can get this as an extra bonus when you have an event or even your own orders, no judgment, for $300. So it's on top of all the other rewards that you get, and you can only get it by being a host. So this is the card that I made using that set, and I think this one is just beautiful. I really like how it picked up and brightened up that dark green. So this is our evening evergreen. So there is what I stamped on the inside of the card, and then I used some of those other leaves on my envelope flap. But I really love this one. This was actually the first one that I had made, and I fell in love with this technique. And then this other card I want to show you is using the Sailing Home. So this one is away from the flowers because, you know, it's really easy to think of doing this technique with flowers. But on this one, I did it with the lighthouse, and I did this one with the pencil. So you can see it is just a little bit softer, but I thought this made a beautiful masculine card. And wouldn't it be great for somebody who is retiring? Okay, so there you have it. It's a new technique. Which one do you think you will try first? Will you try the liquid approach where you're using your ink, or will you try the watercolor pencil? So I hope that you have liked this. Thanks so much for watching. Details of these cards will be found in my blog, thepowerofacard.blogspot.com. I will have all the measurements and the links to the supplies that I have used. I hope that if you've liked this video, you will give me a thumbs up and you'll share it for me. That really helps me to grow my business, and it makes the people at YouTube happy. And if you hit that subscribe button, you'll get notified of the next time I have my video. Thanks so much for watching.